So welcome to the Global Markets Theater session, the power of financial services and capital markets. Quick introduction, I'm Chris Eriks, General Manager of Corporate and Institutional Banking at Salesforce. My colleague is Doug Christensen, VP of Strategy from Tier1. And today we're going to really focus on the Financial Services Cloud, and we're going to show you a demonstration of Tier1 powered by Financial Services Cloud for capital markets. But real quickly, with our forward-looking statement, Salesforce is a publicly traded company, so please make all your purchasing decisions off of products that are currently available. Before we get into the demo, I just want to kind of set the backdrop of a little bit of some trends that are taking place in the business. When you look at the sales and research side of the business of capital markets, they've been going through a lot of transformation over the last couple of years. So if you look at competition, it's kind of reached that point probably a couple of years back where there's just really a saturation of the amount of brokers out there in the business competing, selling very similar products. Everything's starting to get a little blurry in terms of who's providing what type of value to the buy-side clients. On the product side, the products are starting to get a little more commoditized as well. So you start to get into a lot of pressure from a competition point of view. You've got a lot of regulatory and compliance pressure that's been sitting on top of that business for the last 10 plus years especially. And now with MiFID II taking control of the last year, you really have got this business that's kind of been flipped upside down, and the rules of engagement have actually changed. So the sell-side banks are really trying to figure out a better alternative to really bring all these coverage teams together that used to be a very siloed business. How do you bring them together and have a true one firm 360 view into that account? So at the end of the day, with Financial Services Cloud, we've been basically working with our partner Tier1, who's been a great partner of ours in capital markets. We've worked with them for about 10 plus years, bringing on a lot of good strategic banks into our community. And we're really trying to help solve really how these coverage teams can basically put themselves in a position to cover their accounts better, where they can actually have at their fingertips all the account engagement, activity tracking, all the analyst calls and meetings that they're doing with the clients, all the corporate access events, all the conferences that these clients are attending, and really start to build these data subsets that are actually really tangible so they can back into these conversations with the buy side and really understand engagement, activity, and what they need to get paid on. So that's really important. So with that, on Financial Services Cloud, a lot of our direction of this product has been fed through a lot of our clients' feedback. So we're really excited about the roadmap, where we're going with it. And obviously in a space like this that can be very complicated, you do need to rely on very strategic ecosystem partners like Tier1 to kind of help us really provide really good rock solid solutions to our clients. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Doug, and he's going to show you a demo of Tier1 and the power of the partnership of Financial Services Cloud with Tier1.
So while my buddy AAA here gets us set up on the demo, I'll just give you a quick introduction. I am Doug Christensen. I'm the VP of Strategy at Tier1. I've been there for about a year. Tier1 is a client relationship management tool for capital markets, banking, and investment management. To date, we have about 18,000 users on our system, using it to manage their workflow as they deal with their clients day to day. And we'll talk you through how that operates today. The core use for us is banking, markets, asset management. And as I said, the last year or so, I've been out talking to clients, and the question I get asked often is, now that we're a CRM user of Tier1, how do we take our client engagements to the next level? How do we use your tools now that we've got everything organized to make an impact? And what they're really asking me is, how do we do what they call next best call? I want to be targeted, I want to be impactful, I want to make the best use of my time to deliver results. And so that's where Tier1 with Salesforce's Financial Service Cloud, we are now fully operational, fully integrated with the solution, and we use the power of our CRM with their features around action plans, relationship maps particularly, and Einstein Analytics to really help manage the engagement. So what we're going to start with here today is, I am a salesperson. My typical routine is I'm in the office at 6 a.m. The first thing I'm going to do is sit down and get my day planned. I'm going to think about how I'm going to use my time, how I'm going to action some content from my sales desk, from my research team to really move forward. And where I'm going to start is my dashboard. So here we're using Einstein Analytics within Tier1 really to visualize my engagement. If you're like most clients that we work with, you've got your clients segmented into different tiers, right? Different priorities. You got thousands of accounts you're dealing with. How do I manage my priorities? So you set them up into tier 3, tier 2, tier 1. Tier 1 being a small subset of accounts that drive most of your revenue, consume most of my services. Tier 2, a little less reactive. A little more reactive, a little less proactive. Tier 3 is really the tail of my accounts. Most of the engagement there is low touch, not high touch. They're receiving research. They might be on my distribution list, but I'm not calling them every day. I'm spending most of my time with my tier 1 clients. And so here you can see very easily how things are segmented, the different tranches that the revenue's generated for different clients, the different types of services, and you get a good overview. I think, I've spent 20 years in client strategy and COO with different firms. Pulling something together like this took an army of people before. Here you're able to, if you have the right tools, you've got the right systems, you're tracking your engagement with clients, you can easily pull something together. Now I want to maybe take a closer look, and here we're going to take a look at a client called Bracket Capital. And I notice, as I pull up Bracket Capital, one of the things that I notice right away is if they're a tier 1 client, I would expect my level of engagement with them to be more driven around my high touch services. So I can quickly see analyst marketing, conferences, which are the high touch services, is kind of low. They're getting a lot of digital, kind of low touch distribution. It's a bit concerning to me. So I'm going to spend a little time kind of digging a little deeper into Bracket Capital and try to understand why the engagement's not quite where it should be. And so with that, I'm going to now jump over to our Allegro. In Allegro, this is our core CRM, List Management. This is where we manage all of our clients. You've got your accounts up top, contacts related to any account that he tracks up here. And one of the things that's quite important for tier 1 clients is you've got a client management process. You've got an account management plan. You're going to put a very robust, descriptive plan in place for each of these clients. And if we go and look at Bracket Capital and we pull up the account plan for 2009, you're looking at the different lines of business, the type of wallet they have, maybe where you currently rank in your wallet share. The account manager gets into great detail. He looks at the cash equity business. He identifies prime brokerage as a huge opportunity, a mandate for us to win. And we draw some correlation to the research services. We realize that the more research we deliver, the higher we get ranked in the vote. There's causality. It's going to drive an opportunity for us to win a financing mandate. And you've got different lines of business. And this is where really financial service clouds and account planning takes, has the most impact in the way we use. You've got a very complicated plan here. How do I make it tangible? How do I make it actionable? And so what we're going to do is we're going to go back over to the dashboard, and from there we're getting into the detail around action plans. And I'm going to take some of the things that we talked about in that account plan and suggest, I know that Bracket Capital, based on our plan, pays a lot and values a service around corporate access. So if I'm going to drive an outcome there and I'm going to distribute that amongst the sales team, research, I'm going to let everybody know that, if we can do more in corporate access, particularly around conferences, we've got a great roster of marquee conferences, we can put a plan together to try and get Bracket Capital, their portfolio managers or analysts, involved more directly, which we believe will drive value. They'll vote for it. It'll drive market share and ultimately commissions. That's how we get paid. We're looking to get paid here. And so very easily, AAA puts together a quick plan, saves it, and you can see not only is it saved quickly, but there are also a number of other action plans that are listed using financial service clouds application. And so now I'm going to take it a step further. As a salesperson, I'm now going to look at Allegro, go back and dig into Bracket Capital. I see that I've got a number of clients. My account managers told me that David C. Burrows is the CIO. We want to start to engage him a bit more. There's an action plan that's already been attached to him. Let me take a closer look at it. So as we open up the action plans and we look at the details, we'll see that there's a number of actions that have been assigned to that account and specifically related, we think, to David C. Burrows. And so here, one of the things that we notice, that's the action plan we just put in, so very quickly it gets disseminated. But if we look at some of the other ones where we talk about increasing access with Bracket, or we go up to dial up across we've got a number of subcategories. And as a salesperson, I've been asked to identify who the priority relationships are. If I'm a salesperson, I've got 20 different clients, hundreds of different contacts. Where am I going to spend my time that's most useful? Priority contacts gives you a way to identify the individuals that we think will make a difference in your engagement. So if we go back, I identified David C. Burrows as a CIO as a priority contact. I'm now going to set it as a priority contact. And what that does is it communicates throughout research, throughout sales, that we're now dialing up, we're making him a priority. We're going to change the way we engage him to try and push more services to drive an outcome, drive a result, get a vote, hopefully get paid more. So as we save Dan Carling as a salesperson, dials up the priority on David C. Burrows, we put a little description in, we say why, and we save it. So now that gets disseminated. We go back to the list manager, and this is my view as a salesperson. It's the same view everybody has across the organization. So as soon as it's saved, you're going to see the priority contact show up in the system, and it shows up as a P. The next thing we're going to do is, on the left here, we have what we call rag flags. Rag flags is your level of intensity, how you cover somebody. They're very customizable. Green is that you're on track, it's a visualization. Yellow says it's, behind. Red is, your relationships significantly below. We've had it set where we want to engage David C. Burrows between 2 weeks and 3 weeks on a regular basis, but because we're dialing it up, we want to maybe make it a week. And instead of it being 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So we're going to change that as well. And as we change it, green's going to turn to amber. It's going to say if we're raising up the priority, we've got to do something tangible. Now this isn't for me. Now, if I take it a step further as a salesperson, I'm not just going to lob a phone call into David C. Burrows. It's not going to be meaningful. I keep calling David with nothing to offer him. I'm going to lose my relationship. Doug keeps bothering me, he keeps calling me, but he's not really offering me much value. So how do I understand David C. Burrows' interests? So one of the things we have is what we call ACE Preference Manager. In the ACE Preference Manager, we can track at a very granular level what it is that David C. Burrows cares about. I've been covering for 15 years, but I cover a lot of people for a long time, and I can't remember everything that they care about. So in here, I know that he cares about analyst one-on-one meetings, values that the most, and he also values, we're going to tag conference one-on-one meetings, because we know that that's important to him. He's a portfolio manager, he covers the healthcare sector, and so speaking of healthcare, now I'm going to go over and check his covered sectors. And in here, we can go and make sure that, healthcare is one of the things that he cares about. It absolutely is. So now I know his sector of interest. I know the services he cares about. Maybe I know some of the tickers and the stocks that he covers. It gives me a roadmap to use the tools so that I can identify opportunities. So now if I'm going to go back into Allegro and I'm going to try to have an impactful call with David, I know that on Monday morning, my research team in healthcare just launched the 30th year of the healthcare conference. We're going to host it in Phoenix, Arizona in November. They did an industry piece, and they went out with a thematic research where they upgraded healthcare services, downgraded hospitals, and had a view on certain stocks that were impactful. So now I'm going to pick the phone up. I could either dial from here, or I can do the old school and dial on the phone. And I'm going to call David and say, earlier this week, the analyst in healthcare had a call. United Healthcare was upgraded. I know you have a big interest in healthcare services, and you're not so favorable on some of the REITs. We've got a big call on United. Give him the color around it and suggest that the analysts are planning their roadshow. They're going to be in his territory next month. And he says, that'd be great. Love the view, like the opinion, send me the research. And by the way, send me the availability for the analyst. I want to spend some time with them. One impactful call. The second one is healthcare conference. You care to meet with the companies that you cover. Of all your coverage, which tickers do you care most about? Give me the 10, give me the 15 that you care about out of all the 180 that are attending the conference. I want to make sure before the slots are filled, I'm going to get you allocated. And David says, that's absolutely fabulous. He says it's fabulous, not because he's spending time with the company, but as a portfolio manager, it helps him day-to-day drive alpha, right? He can't feasibly go to his IPC committee, his investment policy committee, without doing certain things and making accommodations. And they say, listen, if you've got an outsized view on United Healthcare, you want to double down, you want to make it an outsized position in your portfolio, you have to show me the due diligence. The due diligence is that you actually spent time with the management company. You can't make that investment unless your IPC committee signs off on it. Doug's just delivered me some great research, got me into the conference. I've now made and logged that interaction in the system to hopefully show that I've demonstrated value, I've had impact. The next time David's getting ready to vote a few months from now, that interaction is going to be sent to him. It's going to be in his broker vote. He's going to log it. He's going to give me a great, vote, and hopefully that vote turns into the market share and increased trading commissions. So hopefully that story was helpful. Gives you a little sense of how our tools today can be used to really make a difference in the way you're engaging clients. You can slice and dice it a lot of different ways. You can use that content, but as you start to log your interactions, you start to log interests, you have the power of the way you manage your clients with the financial service clouds and action plans to really drive tangible outcomes. You've got a limited amount of time to deal with clients. You don't want to do what most salespeople do, which is I call the spray and pray. They come out of the morning meeting, somebody wrote up everything that was talked about, they hit every one of their clients, they distribute it out, it has zero impact. You take a different approach, which is you know what their interests are, you do very bespoke, tailored service, it results in a positive engagement. Hopefully you see the correlation, you see it drive outcomes in the vote, you see it drive market share, you see it hopefully drive revenue for your firm. So thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today. If you have any questions, you'd love to talk to us, we're happy to talk to you one-on-one and spend a little more time digging into the tools. This is just a little bit of a preview into how we're working with FSC to deliver meaningful technology to clients in the capital market space. Thank you.